Welcome to the ultimate Tolkien Tournament. This is Middle-earth Madness. Yes, welcome back, everyone, to the second night of the ultimate Tolkien Tournament. All right, we are ready to have some more fun. We are ready for some more fights. 8 more fights on the roster for tonight. Let's have a quick look at where we're at in the bracket here. Hopefully everyone can see this. So last night we had Eowyn pull the obvious upset over Peregrine Took. Not much of a fight there. Elladan, however, got the, I guess you'd call it a 9-8 upset, if you can really call a 9-8 an upset. Very even fight against Elendil, and Elladan, half-elven, son of Elrond, pulls the come-from-behind victory there. To set up a pretty cool fight in the second round. I mean, we're talking about Eowyn, the Maya of Manwë, and for those that have just read The Lord of the Rings or maybe The Hobbit and aren't so familiar with the Silmarillion or the backing lore in the first stage, Eowyn was a demigod figure that sort of sits out most of the fights of the first stage, and then when the gods, the Valar, pretty much lose their temper once and for all with Morgoth for wrecking all their shit repeatedly. Eowyn is the one that leads the armies of the Valar into Beleriand, which is the fallen area of Middle Earth, and pretty much wastes the armies of Morgoth. So he is one of the favorites in the tournament field for sure, and so Elladan's going to have his work cut out for him in that one. All right. So this top left region, by the way, is the Beleriand region. And we will fight these battles tonight. We got the Witch King against Gimli to lead things off with shortly here. And then we're going to do Éomer against Gil-galad. Last night, we already decided Fingolfin over Theoden. Again, not much of a fight there. You wouldn't expect it to be. And then things started getting a little interesting. Boromir annihilated Eärendil. That fight's worth checking out on YouTube if you missed it. I won't say any more on that other than, spoiler alert here, you see the outcome. Sets up a pretty cool, I don't know, maybe it doesn't seem like a very cool second round fight here because of the upset, 11 versus 3. But boy, Boromir needed no help taking out Eärendil. So if his luck holds, that one will be juicy. And then lastly, 2 more here. Sauron dismantled Samwise. Gwaihir dismantled Scatha rather easily to set up a Eagle versus Maya second round contest there. And then maybe the best fight of the first round, certainly the longest. Imrahil was just sticking in it. And he was not wanting to go home, and he was not wanting to quit. And he gave Finrod everything he could handle and then some. And it ultimately lost. But another fight that's well worth checking out on our YouTube page. So again, another interesting second round bout here. Dane against Felagund. 2 11-6 upsets last night. So if that's any indication, tonight is going to be interesting too. So with that, let me switch screens here. We will get y'all everything you need for the first fight of the evening. And that is going to be the Witch King against Gimli. 2 characters pretty much everyone's familiar with from the Third Age of Middle-earth. All right. We are flying solo tonight. My panel is going to be with us here shortly. But without further ado, let's get into let's chop up how the stats look for this first fight. The Witch King against Gimli. All right, what does the computer say here? Well, the Witch King, as you can see on the first readout line, is going to prefer ranged combat with his necromancy, which is nasty. I mean, you guys remember from the books, they use this terrifying fear factor basically to make all their adversaries just cringe in crippled terror. Pretty effective, right? So obviously the Witch King is going to rely on that as much as he can. If you look in the stats table here, the piercing from that ranged attack for the Witch King is 70, which isn't elite. It's not on par with some of your elven archers, for example. But again, his accuracy with that attack is 78. So combine a 78 accuracy with a 70 piercing, and he's going to rely on that against weaker competition probably as much as he can. But I mean, it's the Witch King we're talking about. So if he has to switch to melee, he doesn't lose much, and he actually gains, let's see, which is striking, 74, and enhanced by 80 magic. He's just a tough out, man. You could argue he should be better than a 5 seed, but 4 or 5, something in that ballpark. Gimli's gonna have his hands full. However, he does have a couple advantages here. If you can tell by the graph here, Gimli has an edge in valor. He has an edge in armor. He has an edge in deflection, which is ranged armor, a defense against ranged attacks. And that's where he pretty much runs out of advantages. But it's enough to give him more than a fighting chance. Especially the armor. The armor with dwarves is legit. Okay. And valor, I'll show you guys the skill table here real quick. Valor is pretty much, you can think of these as your Madden stats. Well, what do they do? The red ones are offense. The blue ones are defense. The green ones here are ranged. Okay. So Gimli has really nice valor, the ability to stand strong against enemy assault. All right, but what are we talking about that once, in the battle engine? Well, it determines the likelihood of a strike landing. So, this is a defensive stat. So the opponent is trying to land a strike on you. It's going to be difficult for a character with high valor. And it also determines a third of the likelihood of withstanding damage. So again, Gimli is going to be stout on defense because of that. Also down here is armor is stout. And basically, okay, so what does this do? Exactly what you would think it would do. It determines the likelihood of an enemy wounding Gimli. All right. So just a quick overview there. All right. Are we ready for the first fight of the night? I say yes. Let's go. The Witch King against Gimli. Let us fight. All right, we're off. Witch King is forced right up to that to use his less favorable weapon. Still, we're talking about the Witch King, so, he uses a melee attack instead of his dread factor. A Morgul Mace he fails to engage. Gimli comes back, misses. The Witch King engages but doesn't hit. Gimli attacks and misses. I'm going to turn down that music. That's a little loud. What about something like that? That's a little better. Sorry, guys. Back to the fight. All right. The Witch King gets back after it. Engages, but doesn't... Oh, man. Doesn't do anything. Gimli attacks and misses. Back and forth they go. Tink! Hits the Witch King's armor with his axe. Doesn't do anything. Witch King can't engage. Gimli can't engage. Witch King coming back with a hit, no damage. Gimli can't engage. Witch King can't engage. Gimli, the first blow of the game. It's a minor one, just 5 points. Witch King comes back. Nothing. Nothing. They're dancing. Oh, Witch King swings again. Tink! Off the armor. That's going to be a common thing with Gimli. That dwarven armor, man. All right, they're still dancing. Back and forth we go. Oh, a fell blow. A slight smite, as it turns out. Still 25 points down for Gimli. Advantage Witch King through 22 rounds. Gimli can't quite engage. Witch King. Neither one can engage through a few more rounds. Hits, but no damage. Tink! Off the armor. Gimli's having a devil of a time even engaging the Witch King. Oh, that spoke a little too soon. He got a hit in. Barely any damage. Oh, the Witch King gets him back with another slight blow. Advantage Witch King, but this is still a fight. We're going to the 35th round. Advantage Witch King. Oh, off the armor. By the way, that bar at the top, if it gets orange, you know someone's scoring a hit, right? Self-explanatory, really. If it gets red, damage has been done. Gray and yellow means swings and misses, failure to engage. Tink! Hit, but no damage. Failure to engage. Oh, another blow by the Witch King. Only 4 damage. Gimli's hanging in. He can't score. Oh, another blow by the Witch King. Still, the blows are only doing a little bit of damage here, so Gimli's hanging in because of his armor. Can he score a blow? No damage. Come on, Gimli, with that axe. I guess I'm supposed to be neutral, but who doesn't love a 12-5 upset? Oh, he got a hit there, but only less than 2 damage. Oh, there's a better one. 5 damage. Gimli's only back by a little bit north of 20 here. Still very much a fight into the 60th round. We're going for a long one here, guys. Hope you're ready. This is still a fight into the 66th round. Failure to hit, failure to engage. We engage, no damage. Gimli, hit! Oh, 1.3 damage. Not gonna cut it. Need to do better than that, old Gimster. All right. Oh, there's a better hit. Less than 4 damage, but... Oh, and then the Witch King comes back. 5 damage. Man, they're getting tired. That's not actually a thing in the stats, but who wouldn't get tired through 80 rounds of combat? This is an epic one, guys. Gimli's forced to use a hatchet toss. Misses. Oh, the Witch King gets him. Another only 4 damage. Gimli's armor, forged in Erebor or some such like that, doing its job. Witch King can't penetrate the armor. Witch King tries again, can't penetrate. Gimli can't even engage the Wraith. Ooh, another tink. Half a point damage. Man, they're dancing. They're dancing through 95 rounds. Gimli! Get him. Grievous wound. Gimli, a 70-point heavily hewn wound. Advantage Gimli going into the 100th round. Oh, man. Longest battle yet, guys. This is super even. Don't count the Witch King out, man. You know he's a Wraith. He can get you at any time. Gimli just needs 1 more hit to finish him. Maybe 2. And there it is. Oh, no. Tink off the armor. That was 1. Can the Witch King get a blow? Oh, there's a big one. Slight smite with 25 points of damage. Woo! Narrow lead for Gimli going into the 110th. The Witch King comes back and he gets him. Oh, slain. Gimli is done. What a fight. Holy smokes. The winner is the Witch King. We almost had a 12-5 upset. The first one of the tournament, guys. Oh, man. So I'm just looking over kind of what happened down the stretch there. Looks like the Witch King was very good at getting Gimli to do the hatchet toss here and rely on his ranged attack. But man, he got a blow here with his battle axe that almost ended the fight and probably should have done. Unbelievable. Unbelievable fight. Best one yet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are off and running. Let me show you the bracket so far. That was in the Beleriand region. So again, as we saw in the overall bracket, last night we had Eladan win, we had Eonwe win. We just saw Gimli almost upset the Witch King, but the Witch King pulled it out. And the five is going to cruise on here to play the winner of Eomer and Gilgalad, our next fight. I'm going to take just a minute here, and our viewers hang tight. We will be back right away with more action. Welcome back. Second night of fights. Off to the races here, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for fight 2? All right. For those just tuning in, we had a pretty epic fight 1, man. It's going to be hard to beat. The Witch King, ultimately, after more than 100 rounds of battle, was able to defeat the 12 seed Gimli. Valiant effort by our favorite dwarf. But in the end, it is the Nazgul that prevails. Next fight, Eomer of Rohan. First Renegade. Then King, ultimately, after the Pelennor. Against Gil-galad, High King. Last High King of the Noldor in Middle-earth. And you'll remember from the lore of the Third Age, retrospectively, they talk a little bit about Gil-galad and leading the last alliance, tangling in single combat for a minute with Sauron himself, then joined by Elendil, and the two of them together couldn't quite overthrow Sauron with the ring, but they did open up that window for Isildur to chop the one from the hand of Sauron. So, I mean, just like we see in the basketball tournament, 13-4 matchups. It's going to be tough sledding for Eomer. Let's dive into exactly why here. So, as you can see from the graphs and the stat table here, again, these are kind of like our Madden stats that power the battle engine through a series of dice rolls at any given point in the combat, right? So, green line's Gil-galad, blue line is Eomer. Gil-galad's leading pretty much across the board here. The only spots where you could say, maybe it's close, but Eomer has a slight advantage. Piercing. Eomer does throw a spear when forced to as his ranged attack. And just his overall toughness, man. He's harder than woodpecker lips, man. How can you not love Eomer, right? Compared to Gil-galad, who, is also relatively hard. Probably just not woodpecker lips level, right? So slight advantage to the man of Rohan here. Also with ferocity. He fights with a little more ferocity than the Elven King. So, not expecting a super close fight here, but hey, we said that yesterday, man, and we got 2 upsets. You just never know with these things. There is always a chance for the underdog in Tolkien or in basketball tournaments in March Madness. So, with that said, let us fight. Gil-galad against Eomer. Let us fight. Gil-galad with the first attack engages but cannot strike. Eomer strikes, hits, no damage. Oh, the first blow by Gil-galad is a nasty one, heavily hewn, dealing damage with that. Oh, it was actually a ranged attack using the Light of the Eldar. Heavily damages the captain of Rohan. But it is not yet over. Oh, slight smite for Eomer to almost even out the fight, and we are off. Eomer's making it a fight here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what can happen. All right, Gil-galad's back to using Aeglos' spear, which I think he's going to prefer in this one. Eomer strikes with Guthwine, Sword of Rohan, can't engage. They're dancing. They're parrying. Oh, another hit by Gil-galad. Slight smite, but it's enough to take him down to 13. Huge advantage for Gil-galad into the 12th round. Off the armor there for Gil-galad. Eomer can't engage. Oh, another blow. Slain. Eomer goes down. And he did his best, man, but it wasn't that close. Gil-galad for the win. Yeah, man, I'd say decent effort here by Eomer. You can probably hear my voice in my commentary. I'm a little biased in this one. I freaking love Aemir. One of my guys. Nothing against Gil-galad, although he does kind of look like a chick in this picture. No offense to the art team, man. I dig the picture. He's an elf, right? So it is what it is. Anyway, Battle 2 in the books. Let's see where we're at in the bracket here. If I can find the right screen, bear with me. All right. So this was up in the Beleriand region. So, as you just saw, the first fight of the night, again, epic fight. The Witch King over Gimli. So, it sets up a nice battle in the second round here, 4 against 5. Gil-galad defeats Éomer and will fight the Witch King in the second round. Gil-galad against the Witch King. Very nice. All right, guys, stick around for 1 minute. I'll be just right back. I'm going to get some water. Little water break there. We are back. I am the Madness Maestro. Well, welcome to the Ultimate Tolkien Tournament. Or welcome back, everyone. We are 2 fights into the evening tonight, 2 out of 8. And we are warming up for fight number 3 here shortly. It's going to be 7 against 10. Beren against Legolas. My panel is super busy tonight, man. So if you guys tuned in last night, we had pretty much the full panel on. All of our founders and members were able to join and sort of co-pilot with me tonight. So far, I'm flying solo, but that's all right. That just means I need you guys to jump in the comments and keep me company here. What's up? How you guys doing? Got a couple comments here about the art. Look, it's common question. It's all original art. We re-envision pretty much all these Tolkien characters from scratch. And when I say scratch, there's been so much good Tolkien art out there, man. It's just it really just annihilates everything we've done here in these sort of feeble efforts, right? But I did want to go ahead and give it our best effort to sort of reimagine these characters right from the source material, which are the books, right? So that's what you're looking at with all the character art here. Look, I think the Peter Jackson movies did a pretty fantastic job overall with the casting, but like any great movie or great artwork, you can nitpick, and I certainly have. I didn't love the elves showing up at Helm's Deep. Don't get me started on that one. Did not love the substitution of Arwen for Glorfindel at the fords of Bruinen, outside Rivendell there. Yeah, don't get me started on that one either. Did not love the 2 towers scene where, oh man, I don't know. Faramir takes the hobbits back to Osgiliath, and then Frodo, decides to pretty much just quit and hand the ring to the Nazgul, the Witch King, on his riding his fell beast. He just kind of reaches up there at the end of the movie and says, "Here you go. Here's the ring, dude." And then and only then for some reason, Faramir decides, oh, well, now you guys can go into Mordor. Now I feel happy about that. Now I feel good about it. Whereas before I said, no, I don't trust the halflings, especially with this golem creature, to be taking the ring to Mordor. I'm going to take the ring and try to score some points in my daddy's book, right? And so that he'll maybe love me again instead of just Boromir. And somehow Frodo handing the ring to the Witch King persuades Faramir otherwise. Yeah. Sorry to wreck that one for you guys if you hadn't already been on that one. But yeah, that's me nitpicking pretty much my favorite movie. So at the end of the day, I can find maybe 3 things to nitpick. I'm sure you guys have your moments too. All right. We are warming up for the next fight of the night here. It's not supposed to be until quarter of, but we will expedite things considering I don't have a panel tonight, man. I'm here chilling, talking to myself. So we'll expedite things a little bit for everyone. We do have some nice viewership, but I guess you guys are feeling quiet or shy tonight because I got nothing in the comments. So we are gonna keep on keeping on here, man, with Beren against Legolas in our third fight of the night. Let's go. All right. I'm here, but I'm having technical difficulties. Why did the fight not launch? The battle engine is not liking this. What's up? Bear with me one sec, guys. I got you. Wait for it. All right, we're going to try that again. Okay, one sec here. So you guys can see the stats here on your screen. You should be able to. Let me just say a few words about this, and then we'll try launching that battle again. All right, rewind. So green line, Beren. Blue line, Legolas. You can see this is kind of your classic 7-10. Pretty even. Now, the advantages for Beren are going to be in Valor. He's as brave as they get. I mean, he is maxed out on Valor. And if you remember his storyline from the first stage, that'll make sense to you. He, went it alone for much of the first stage, the first man, with a bunch of rangers in the woods trying to resist Morgoth, who was basically Sauron's boss. So instead of a demigod, we're talking full god, Valar. That was Morgoth, the first Dark Lord, right? And yeah, Beren didn't back down from him, so he's not going to back down from Legolas here, an elf. His valor's great. His ferocity's great. He is a mortal man at the end of the day. He's not an elf. So, of course, in the elf-like stats, you'll see Legolas with an advantage. Accuracy, of course. Legolas was an elite archer, so his accuracy, it might not look elite, but 78 for a third age character is very good. And his piercing is also... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Beren here. Yeah, Legolas is elite. Sorry. 90 versus... and it also... Exactly. His 79 for his piercing, too. So he's good to go, man. He's got those elven advantages along with agility and elusiveness being better than Beren's as well. So, what do you say we try this fight again? Yes. Beren against Legolas. Let us fight. Legolas with the first strike. Oh, man. Right off the bat. He's just such a good shot, man. He uses Galadrim bow, and it pierces. Advantage Legolas right off the bat. Ooh, Beren is using his bow too. Poor decision, probably. Legolas is forced to use his battle knives here, but he can't engage yet. Beren comes back. Bow of Dorthonion doesn't hit. Oh, now they're missing. Failing to engage. Legolas hits, but doesn't do any damage. Beren's armor isn't great, so that's something to keep an eye on, too. Oh, Legolas with another hit. Slay! And Legolas, zero problems whatsoever against the first age hero, Beren. Yeah, man, that's a tough matchup, looking back on it. Legolas is too good with that bow, man. So there you have it. We had a 110 round fight earlier in the night, and there's your 9-round beatdown by everyone's favorite elf. So,
and what an exciting moment to walk in the door. You mean to tell me that Legolas just beat up Beren like that?
10-7 upset, baby.
That's crazy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, dude. I know you're running late tonight, man. All good, but there was an absolute monster match earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'll tell you about it after I turn this music off. So, yeah, as our viewers have been here for a little while, can tell you, the Witch King against Gimli was every bit a 12-5 matchup, man, because Gimli had the lead for a good portion of that, going 100 rounds. You remember our match last night that went, what, like almost 80 rounds? Before...
Yeah.
Damn, I'm already forgetting which one that was. Was that was an 11? Was that the Boromir match? Or was that the...
Wasn't it Imrahil and...
Oh, you're right. Yes. Yeah, so Imrahil against... Imrahil ended up losing, man, but he gave his opponent, who was Finrod Felagund, every bit of that fight, and Gimli does the same tonight in our first 12-5 matchup.
Oh, okay. So who ended up winning that one?
Sorry, so the Witch King ended up winning that in the end.
Okay.
Crazy come from behind, throughout a lot of rounds, more than 100 rounds. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, dude, I'll just pull up the bracket for everyone here. So I'm showing the real-time bracket here from the website instead of the photo, which captures our updates from yesterday here. Okay, perfect. So this is the one from earlier. These are our matches from yesterday. Eowyn obviously won. Elladan, technically that's an upset, beat Isildur, and so that's going to be our second round matchup, those two. Here, it's going to be the Witch King against Gil-galad. So 4-5. That's chalk. This was a beatdown. This was right before you joined, Santi. Yeah, Eomer did some damage, but he couldn't. I think it was like a 12-round fight. Gil-galad got him.
Okay. So fairly quick on that one. So, but then the Witch King and Gimli was the one that lasted. You said, did you say?
Oh yeah,
over 100 rounds.
More than 100, like 110 rounds, something like that.
Wow.
And the Witch King was on the ropes. I'm talking. I think he had like 12, 15 hit points left, or something close to that.
That sounds exciting. Well, I'm glad that that battle definitely took a while, so I didn't miss too many of the matchups.
No, man. So how's it going with you, man?
Good. I apologies. I had to run an errand real quick, and then by the time that I got back, I realized that I was way late. So, but yeah, how are you?
No complaints, man. We're here having fights, so I'm on cloud 9.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those that as soon as I walked in, it looked exciting. It's one of those things that you would not expect Legolas to beat Beren like that.
Certainly not like that. Yeah. And 7-10s they're close matchups, always, right? In basketball or in Lord of the Rings. But yeah, I was expecting better of my guy Baron. Dude, just Legolas with that bow. He is nasty with that bow. He might be, for being honest, a little, maybe a line underseated here. You could argue he should have been a 9. Kind of, he's not as good at melee as a guy like Eladon, to take an example, So he didn't make the 9 line with guys like that. And who's the 9 down here in the Mordor region? Gwaihir, completely different type character. And then over here, who are our other 9s, just to get some comps? Ooh, Beleg. Another ridiculous archer, right?
Yeah.
As we'll see tomorrow.
Ooh, that'll be a good matchup.
Yeah, another, like, Azaghal is another 9. But I'm just saying, like, you could argue Legolas should be on that 9 line. He just kind of proved it tonight. So yeah, that was interesting.
That definitely was. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I guess as soon as I walked in, it's like excitement already happening. So I'm excited for the next ones.
What is our next one? We've got Ugluk against Mithrandir.
Ooh, Mithrandir.
Yes. Should not be close, right? Let's be honest.
It begs the question, is it like the films where Gandalf the White is slightly stronger than Gandalf the Grey, or?
Well, yes, this is a great question, right? So, and one we get pretty often. The short answer is that the most idealized form of the character is usually what we went with in the stats, right? So when I say idealized, most people would think Gandalf the White in the Return of the King, right, with Glamdring, with the ring, the fire ring, right? Lent him pretty much fully beat. Now, there are a couple of exceptions that I don't get into to address the question, but Gandalf talking. That's why.
So your audio is breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure why that might have been, but it was just like slowly started to get a little bit farther away.
Oh, what about now? Are we back?
You're back now.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so now I was just saying Gandalf's pretty much fully beefed, and that's why he's on the 2 line. So think Gandalf the White with Glamdring and the Elven Ring. Okay,
so he's got the Ring of Power and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ugluk being an Uruk instead of a normal orc helps him a little bit. He's not terrible, right? But I mean, look, he's on the 15 line for a reason compared to all the other characters. It's hard to really find anything in the lore to bump him up. We'll show his stats in a little bit here. Let's go ahead and do that now, actually.
Okay.
Bear with me.
Let's see.
I've got to get all... Hey, Battle Engine, what are you doing, man? Yeah, this thing was actually glitching a little bit earlier on a fight, but...
And then...
It's a computer at the end of the day, so...
Ugluk was the captain, right? That took the hobbits captive and was taking them to Isengard.
Correct. Yeah, so one of Saruman's Uruks. They kind of swapped part of his action out for Lurtz in the Fellowship movie, right?
Yeah.
Ugluk, I mean, he was one of those guys a little bit like Gil-galad, actually, who, he might have been on screen. You could point at a couple of those Uruks that look Ugluky, just like, people pointed to dudes in the background that kind of looked like Imrahil or kind of looked like Gil-galad, like, oh, that's Gil-galad. I mean, he has a spear and he's an elf. It probably was Gil-galad, right? But yeah, so Lurtz got some of the airtime on that one.
Okay. Well, I guess that probably the easiest way for like the folks that have only seen the movies or maybe not made too familiar. He's the guy that was like looks like meat's back on the menu.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. Why not? And you got a resemblance to this artwork too. I was kind of explaining the artwork, how we tried to sort of go back to the books on a lot of this stuff. A lot of our comments, I know you've seen some of them, Santi, that have been pretty funny commentary on the artwork, which I get a kick out of that.
Well, it's kind of one of those, I guess. Now that we know that meat's back on the menu, and it always begs the question: did orcs have restaurants, or how did they know what a menu was?
Oh, dude. Man, I was already offering my my 3 most pet peevey sort of moments from the Peter Jackson movies. I didn't even get to The Hobbit. It's like that. my daughter loves Encanto, and they have that song, "We Don't Talk About Bruno." Well, up in here, we don't talk about Rings of Power, and we definitely don't talk about the Hobbit movies. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. No need.
Yeah. It's the thing that was, I think, so frustrating about the Hobbit movies is that they started off so well until they left back in.
Truly, man, that first movie really was good. But because I know we've talked about it before, that in Benicio del Toro's reign over the early reign over the screenplay, it was going to be 2 movies, and it should have stayed that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was I think them expanding the storyline to incorporate all that unnecessary crap was their downfall.
Yeah. I think that definitely did not help. And plus, it made The Hobbit a lot more complicated than it needed to be. Like,
Totally.
I feel like if you're watching the movies, you could get lost. Whereas, reading a book was, in this case, the one time it was simpler.
Oh man, exactly. And I don't know. Everyone's going to have the stuff that bothers them a little more or a little less. You need some comic relief. And I thought they did a very tasteful, very good job in the first Lord of the Rings movies with comic relief. I wish not so much of it had relied on Gimli. They kind of seem to, let's toss a dwarf. That'd be funny. Okay. Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm not butthurt about any of the political correctness stuff, but just like, why do you always have to go to Gimli for a comic relief line? Like that guy was a badass in the books. He was a bloodthirsty savage, right? And
yeah.
It's not like he didn't have a sense of humor, but yeah, they kind of made him the comic relief guy.
Yeah, and I guess kind of circling it back to the Ugluk, right? Whenever the 3 hunters are doing the chase, right? Mm-hmm. It's always Gimli that's struggling with the cardio, whereas the other 2 are just perfectly fine. Yeah.
I don't know. And in the extended version, he's got to fall off his horse, and which is true. Which is true to lore. I mean, I gotta admit, like dwarves are not horsemen, so have him fall off his horse. But it wasn't just that; it was just everything with him. So, and they had dwarves like that, and Bombur was kind of that dwarf in the first movie, in the Hobbit movies and all that crap. So. Yeah, I don't know. And then we're talking about like elf dwarf love triangles and
yeah.
Making up characters just to have a chick in the movie and all that crap. I don't care for.
It's just one of those that, definitely the whole addition of Toriel definitely goes against what I feel like was the specialty between the bond of Legolas and Gimli, right? That friendship was so rare. Suddenly you have a love triangle.
I know, man. I know. And honestly, I can understand how folks who are just kind of there to see the movie and not like deep into Tolkien fandom or lore or anything, like Philippa Boyens and Fran Walsh, the co-writers, right? The same gals that helped. I mean, one of them is Peter Jackson's wife. I forget which one. They're good writers, man. They're very good writers for ARC, and they're good editors too. Meaning, like, when you're on that hero's journey curve and the emotional curve of the movie, it was just perfect. Like in all 3 movies, I think they They nailed the narrative curve, right? And even in the Hobbit movies, like the curve was there. Like the action scenes were where they needed to be. The lovey sort of slower scenes were kind of where they needed to be. And I almost, in a way, I can't complain because that elf chick was easy on the eyes, so I'm about it in a way. But overall, you're just like, I don't know. I walked out of the movie like a third of that was filler that was just pulled out of someone's ass and put on a screen, and it had nothing to do with the Hobbit story. So,
yeah, that's true. And I think really one of the most heartbreaking things for me, anyway, was the portrayal of Bjorn. They did not do him any justice. But
dude, yeah, I don't know, everything from Para dropping him out of an eagle in the last movie to have his moment on the battlefield to all the stuff going on at his house. I was excited for him too, man, because he was a cool character.
Yeah, he really is, and it's one of those that, like, actually, whenever I'm thinking about this, like I'm wondering what sort of seeding Bjorn might get.
Yeah, so good question. I think he's an 8 or a 9. He is in, I think that's an 8-9 that is scheduled for tomorrow, or a 7-10.
Yeah, he's on the board. Yeah,
he is in the field for sure. I'm trying to remember where.
Cut off, which is
excuse me. Yeah, good. Oh, is that right, dude? It's another 11-6. You're right. Yep. So you got it before me. Good stuff. Yeah. So him against Katakatov. Yeah, we'll show you that region here.
Good matchup.
That is not the region. My bad. This is the region. Yeah, right there. 11-6. So yeah, that'll be a fight for tomorrow. Hopefully we did a little truer to the book on Bjorn's stats.
And that's really an exciting one. But all right, let's back to Mithrandir and Ugluk, right?
Back to Mithrandir and Ugluk. Yeah, dude. So next fight. Does Ugluk have any advantages here? He's the blue line. So he has an advantage in ferocity, agility, and dexterity. And a little bit on toughness too. This is interesting. He actually does have a few advantages on Mithrandir, but what you notice is the advantages that Mithrandir does have, armor as well. Mithrandir's one big weakness is, he doesn't rely on armor. All right. Mm-hmm. So something to keep an eye on, man. He's, this is armor against melee attacks specifically. His deflection is pretty good because, again, that relies more on magic and range defense. So he's squared away there, but he's got very bad armor. Or if you prefer to look over here in the stat table, there's Gandalf's glaring weakness right there, 22 in armor.
Oh yeah. So I mean, really, this is going to be, I guess, depends on whether Gandalf can throw some ranged attacks, and as long as they don't get into hand-to-hand combat immediately. Yeah. Then now in the engine, they can flip back, right? Like, so somebody could maybe create distance and then throw a ranged attack.
Correct. With the engagement and conversely, like the disengagement, right? So the computer readout here is saying they'll use their preferred weapons 92% of the time. And that's determined, we call them battlefield conditions, but it's a series of dice rolls, right? That with no partiality toward either character. It's just randomized in every battle. Here, they slightly favor Ugluk, and Ugluk favors melee. So it's a stronger preference, meaning he wants to cling to melee, and he's going to be able to do so about 92% of the time. Mithrandir prefers the Flame of Anor, using his staff and using ranged attacks. But, I mean, he's got Glamdring, too, and his striking is, 98? So he's good to go either way. I mean, he's a 2-seed. So
yeah.
There you have it. What do you say we get to the fight?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Mithrandir against Ugluk. Let us fight. First attack to Mithrandir misses. Ugluk comes back, fails to engage. Mithrandir hits a minor wound with the Flame of Anor. Ugluk comes back with his Uruk blade, cannot engage. Oh, hits him that time, but fails to do any damage. Oh, Gandalf with another wounding hit. Heavily hewn. Making short work with the Flame of Anor of the Uruk High Captain. Can Ugluk come back and do any damage, or is this going to be a beatdown? Failure to engage. They're dancing a little bit. Oh, he gets a wound in. Ugluk, heavily hewn. He evens the battle. And we have a fight, ladies and gentlemen. Gandalf comes back, hits, but doesn't do any damage. Ugluk, slay!
No way.
Ugluk pulls the 15-2 upset. Oh my god.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Wow. You just saw it. It happened. Okay, so lightning strikes once in a while, or strikes twice. Holy crap.
Wow.
15-2 upset.
It really came down to that armor.
Dude, yes. Yeah, we pointed out in the pregame, guys. If you're watching this on demand on YouTube after the fact instead of on the live stream, it might get chopped out. But in the pregame, Santi and I were just discussing that Gandalf's lack of armor is his one major weakness. Golly, where's Chucky when you need him, man? He'd be stoked.
Yeah, you'd be cheering for the armies of Moria, and I guess in this case, Isengard as well. But
holy crap, what happens? So just one unbelievable swing of the Uruk blade does heavy damage, and he hews Gandalf to the ground.
And it's crazy too, because the first 7 rounds, like you thought, okay, Gandalf as a 2 seed, he has this in secured in the bag. There's no doubt about it. And then next thing you know, boom, boom.
Yeah, okay, that's wild. So this is obviously the biggest upset of the tournament so far. It's not going to be the last night. Again, we had some 11-6 upsets. We almost had a 12-5 upset earlier tonight. But yeah, nothing is going to stack against this Uruk-hai over Maya upset.
Definitely not. Yeah, I think this 2 seed getting beat by a 15 seed, that's difficult enough as it is, let alone being one of the 5e stati.
Yeah. And I'm going back to the bracket here right quick because I want to see what that sets up for the next round. Where are we here? So we are in the Mordor region, aren't we? No, I'm sorry. We're in the Beleriand region. So in Beleriand, that kind of tilts the whole bottom half of this because we're going to have Legolas against Ugluk in the second round. And of course, you got the 3 still alive, and Fingolfin looked fail in the first round, but then again, he fought Theoden.
True. And I think for that next round too, it's once again a character that favors heavily on the ranged versus Ugluk, who obviously wants to do nothing but melee.
Yeah, exactly. Woo! Man, things just got interesting.
Yes, it did. I'm trying to think, like looking at that Fingolfin. I think that Fingolfin and Boromir battle is going to be a little bit closer than those numbers are saying, right? I think that the seeding might, because you never know, but you never know. I mean, Fingolfin at the end of the day, it's Fingolfin. He's taken on the Valar, so
yeah. But you're right. I mean, Boromir, if memory serves, Boromir just waxed Eärendil. That was not close. Kind of like tonight. I mean, Ugluk kind of waxed Gandalf, to be honest with you. So,
yeah. And then Get to see what some of these other parts of the table start to kind of pan out like.
Shoot, yeah, we haven't even touched the whole right side of the bracket. That starts tomorrow night, so who knows? But the the left side sure is shaping up to be interesting. And to think we had comments yesterday, man, there's not enough upsets. Just wait.
I definitely want to see the reaction from Josh and David whenever they get back.
I know. Just to see. You guys are missing out, our fellow founders, the panel. Yep. Wow. Okay. Well, how do we follow that up?
Well, I guess we just move on to the next one and let's see. Because Elrond versus Thorin.
Yes.
Now that will be an interesting matchup because I would assume that Elrond will have a good amount of magic.
Yep, fair.
Now, does he have the first age armor, right, or second age in Last Alliance?
That's a good question. We'll pull up his stats in just a sec here. Generally speaking, though, I mean, the form of Elrond we're talking about is third age Elrond, more of a magic reliant character. Certainly if he gets his preference, which he will, he'll prefer to fight ranged, I predict. But he can wield a blade too.
Yeah, I mean, certainly.
What are your thoughts on Thorin as a warrior? While I get this pulled up in the battle engine.
Yeah. So I mean, with Thorin, he's one of the party of, I guess Bilbo's party when they go and challenge Smaug. Now, I don't remember him particularly fighting too much in the Hobbit itself, except for, of course, the Battle of Five Armies. But
right,
being a dwarf, he's going to be heavily armored, I would assume, and he's probably going to be fell with either Orcrist, that one of the two elvish swords that were found in the Hobbit movies, I believe.
Yes.
Now, so I mean, he's going to be obviously a very strong warrior. So 12-5s are always difficult to predict.
Totally. Yep. Yeah, that's it's always one you circle in your March Madness bracket, and I think this tournament's no exception, especially since the Gimli fight is fresh in my mind. that was as 12-5 as it gets. So watch this one be a beatdown just to even things out a little bit.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I do see here the engine does say lots of defense, so we might be here a while.
Yes. Yeah, so let's see here. You mentioned, we wanted to take a look at Thorin's striking. 86 with Orcrist. So that's fell. I mean, for a 12 seed, he has the striking of like a 4 seed, just to pick on one stat. Of course, that's not all we consider in seeding. It's the overall balance of everything. For example, his spirit sucks. That's not what dwarves rely on, right? His magic is not there. Again, not what dwarves rely on. But it's an interesting matchup because that is what his opponent, Elrond, is relying on, more magic and spirit, 80 to both, right?
I do like that, I guess, out of all the advantages or disadvantages on this one, you see the line actually go back and forth in a couple different areas, right? So
good call.
I'd say maybe like spirit or armor, like it flexes such a different ranges. So this one could really just depends on how it plays out, but it could go either way.
It really could. Yeah, and it's very 12-5-y in that sense. Now, Elrond does have more advantages, as the readouts say here on screen. He has much more total skill, but odds makers, that being the computer, give pretty even odds, slight advantage to Elrond.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think the interesting part too is like, for example, I'm looking like, elusiveness, piercing. Those are all things that are going to definitely play to Elrond's hand. So maybe Thorin might not get as many shots as Elrond might, but if he does, it could be one of those kind of like Ugluk, where maybe it doesn't take too many.
Yeah, exactly. It could just take one. But that's why we have the fights, to find out.
All right, let's run it.
Let's do it. Elrond against Thorin Oakenshield. Let us fight. Oh, right off the bat, Elrond claims a huge advantage using the Ring Vilya from ranged. Slight smite to Thorin. Can the dwarf get back in it? Attack and a miss. Oh, failure to engage by Elrond. Another attack and another miss with Orcrist. Oh, Elrond gets him again. Teek! Oh, less than 5 damage. Elrond tries with Orcrist, but hits and doesn't wound. Elrond, another one! Slight smite. Oh, he is wasting Thorin. But it is not yet over. The dwarf can still get back in this. He needs a hit. He needs a hit right here. Missed. Oh, Elrond gets him again, but not a lot of damage. Thorin, what's wrong with your armor, man? Apparently it's not good against elf rings.
Elrond
Slay.
just completely dominating the control of that fight.
Obliteration. Yeah, there you have it. Total beatdown.
But wow, I mean, he just controlled the tempo of the fight. He controlled, how he wanted to fight, and ultimately it looks like just Thorin could just not land really a single hit.
No kidding. And it just reminds me, sometimes it's when you're filling out brackets, it's so hard to predict those 12-5s because one of them is going to happen, but which one? It's never the one you pick.
It's true, and based on those odds, I didn't want to say anything, but I was actually like heavily leaning towards Thorin, maybe doing something. But
I know it's pretty much even. But look here, it's Elrond uses that. He uses Vilya every single time, and with unbelievable success.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, just immediately starts off. This is how we're gonna fight, and I feel like it sort of just dictated how it went. So, yeah,
100%.
Go on, Elrond.
Elrond's gonna advance, ladies and gentlemen, without much trouble at all. So let's see where that leaves us. We've got. Let's get our bracket back up here. Where are we at? Here we go. All right. So, in the Mordor region down here, we are going to have Elrond advancing as the 5. He just won this one. So yeah, he'll play the winner of our next fight, Faramir against Smaug.
Oh, Smaug the Terrible.
Yes. That'll be interesting. But yeah, no issue for Elrond right there at all.
That seems like a very interesting matchup either way. I think it'll be completely different based on the winner of the next match. But yeah, I think Smaug versus Faramir. I mean, Smaug in the lore was killed by an archer.
Oh, good call. Yeah. Bod.
But I am particular to Smaug. I mean, that symbol right there, it looks like Mortal Kombat. It's epic. I think
it kind of does.
It was just because of the pure emotion of it.
Yes. He was Smaug the Golden, right? And so at least he has some gold on his neck or on his belly there. Yeah, Faramir, we'll show his odds in a minute here, but he's very balanced. He's good at melee and he's good at archery. but he's not great at either.
Yeah. So maybe a good blessing or a curse. Really could be. I would be curious, since he's so balanced, what his preferred method would be.
Probably. Yeah, and it's going to depend on his opponent, of course, and so the computer determines that with a series of sort of simulated, we call them rehearsals. Basically, think of it as a scouting report that each character has on their opponent, right? It's like, all right, I'm fighting a dragon. I'm going to treat a dragon differently than I would if I'm fighting an elf, of course, right? Because they're way different opponents. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to influence in the rehearsals sort of which weapon works better, and then he'll make his selection off of that.
I wasn't actually aware of that, so that's really cool to know, and like it's really, really cool that I guess even when the simulator or the engine, right, the computer is able to predict those scouting reports.
Yeah, because you want a little bit of, ideally, you want a little bit of randomness in there and a lot of variation between the characters, right? And sometimes they're forced to use, sometimes, like in real combat, they're forced to use, you want to exploit your enemy's weakness. And so that's what they're always trying to do.
Now, Smaug, I would assume maybe similar to Scatha, in the sense that high armor, maybe not too much elusiveness.
Right, you are. Yeah. So let's look at exactly what we're dealing with here. Smaug, bad elusiveness, 52. Bad agility. Yeah, so dragons just in general, are lumbering, they're slow. And agility, that's going to be your offensive ability to engage, right? So, and if you can't engage, you can't wound with melee. You're at the mercy of your ranged attack. But your ranged attack is dragon fire. So, I mean, you're dealing with 91 piercing when he uses dragon fire, and his accuracy for those range attacks is 70. So it's a blast weapon. It's not a pinpoint weapon, like we saw earlier with Legolas. That's a pinpoint weapon. His accuracy is 90 something, and his piercing was also, don't quote me, but good, right? He's good on both. Mm-hmm. Smaug, the accuracy isn't quite there. If you get like he can miss with his dragon fire, like, okay, you heat the dude up a little bit because you kind of hit him, but you didn't burn him up, right? Think of it that way.
Gotcha. So elusiveness for Faramir could be key then in this matchup.
Totally. Yeah. So let's check that. It's a good point. So elusiveness looks like he's a 72. He's decent. Right? He doesn't have elvish elusiveness like a dude like Legolas or Thranduil or Elladan. They're very, or even the hobbits are very elusive, right? They're sneaky guys. But Faramir 72 is competitive. It's good, especially for a 13 seed.
Yeah. I mean, definitely is. Now, I'm trying to look at some of the Faramir has pretty good accuracy. I'm trying to figure out like what the best angle of attack if I'm Faramir.
Yeah.
How to handle this fight. I mean, it's probably just going to have to. This seems like it's going to be a very range type of fight. I don't know that if I'm Faramir, I'm trying to get too close into hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, get in there. He says he's going to prefer his bow of Ithilien. Smaug obviously going to prefer dragon fire. The battlefield conditions here are going to favor Smaug. They're going to use their preferred weapons about 88% of the time. Faramir, that's a little bit of a loss for Faramir, actually, because if that series of dice rolls had gone a little differently, if Faramir's versatile, again, he doesn't really strongly prefer either one. So he wants to force Smaug to use his weaker weapon. The problem is, with the 4, with a dragon, his quote-unquote weaker weapon is still pretty fell.
Yes, very
His
much
striking
so.
is 86. So we're talking about fangs and claws and tail and all that nasty stuff, right? So enhanced not by magic, but by decent stamina. Let's touch on stamina. That's an underrated stat here. I'll pull up the table. So stamina is an interesting one. These red ones here are offensive Madden stats, right? Stamina is your ability to maintain strength in combat, but what it determines is actually a third of your damage in the end, because the slower you wear out in a fight, the more damage you can do in that fight, right? And elves have great stamina. Obviously, it's what they're known for. But also, a ranger like Faramir, his advantage in this fight is that stamina. So if he can engage, and if he can do a blow that doesn't, glance off Smaug's 87 armor, that stamina is going to help him out in the damage phase.
Interesting. So really, if you're Faramir, you want to rely on the elusiveness and the stamina to maybe keep the fight going a little bit longer, because the longer it goes, maybe the better chance you'll have.
Exactly. You want to draw this out, make it a long one, and just don't get hit by Dragonfire is the easier said than done thing.
All right. Well, I'm excited. As I said earlier, I'm gonna have to pick Smaug on my prediction for this one.
Probably smart move on that one.
But I would be excited to see Faramir pull off the opposite.
All right, for any of you guys that had this 13-4 upset, let's root for Faramir on this one. For all our viewers, feel free to drop a comment in there and let us know what you think, and let us know what you want us to touch on, or any questions or comments. Meanwhile, let us fight. And we're off with the 4 Smaug against the 13 Faramir. Faramir attacks first with the bow of Ithilien and misses. Smaug comes back, hits, but luckily for Faramir, the Dragonfire only does 1 damage. Looks like Faramir misses again. Smaug, Dragonfire misses. Oh, hits but fails to penetrate. That's that dragon armor. Dragonfire hits but fails also to penetrate. So Faramir's elusiveness already paying dividends here.
It really is.
Smaug's armor are doing the same. Oh, hits but fails to penetrate. He's using that bow. The Dragonfire, it's that accuracy. He can't quite get that death stroke yet. Oh, engages, can't hit. Faramir comes back, engages, can't hit. Oh, the Dragonfire fails to penetrate. The bow fails to penetrate. They're going back and forth.
Faramir doing a great job.
Faramir's hanging in. He's dragging it out. He just can't get any hits on this guy. Faramir's forced to use his sword. Let's see what happens. Oh, he fails to engage. Dragonfire also misses. Hits, but doesn't do any damage. Oh, he's hanging in. Uh-oh. Tink!
Ooh.
Okay, only a slight wound there. Faramir hanging tough. Can he slay the beast? Oh! Again, man, he's getting lucky with this Dragonfire. He's dodging it. It's only burning him a little bit. Ooh. Again, the Dragonfire burns him a little bit. Slight damage. Tink! Oh, Faramir just cannot pierce the dragon's armor. Ooh.
That elusiveness is coming clutch for Faramir right now.
Yes. He's doing what he needs to have a chance here, man. He's taking it to the 4th quarter and seeing what happens. That's all you can do. Oh, he gets a hit. Nope. Only Not enough. Not enough damage. Oh, Smaug comes back. Ooh.
'Tis but a scratch.
'Tis but a flesh wound. Oh, they're dancing. They're hitting, failing to damage, hitting but fail to damage. Oh, another wound there. Not very severe. And we've got through 40 rounds, only about a 20-point advantage for the Dragon Smaug. Faramir's dragging it out. He's hitting but failing to wound. Also Smaug doing the same. Back and forth they go. Oh, another wound, but tink! We're approaching 50 rounds. Another slight wound by Faramir. That bow of Athelion is just... I feel like he's going to have to switch to his sword at some point. Ooh, Smaug switches to his iron claws, but doesn't do any damage. Ooh, hits but fails to pierce. Vice versa. Back and forth they go. Oh, Faramir gets a hit. Oh, a major hit with the bow.
Wow.
Advantage Faramir.
Wow.
Okay.
The
He's
game
still
plan
got
is
28
working.
life. What do you think at this point, Santi?
The game plan is working, Faramir.
Yes,
Keep
good
it
scouting
up.
report. Obedience. Oh, again with the wound. Can he slay him?
What?
Slay! Faramir, 13-4. Upset, yeah.
Wow. Okay, and another upset for the night.
How you like them apples?
This is the bracket buster day.
Dude. Oh, man. Yeah. And timely in the comments, David chimes in. He's at the Astros game tonight, but he says, any upsets?
Yeah, I just had to say yes in all caps.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, so Smaug is out of the field, slain by Faramir. Dude, Santi, talk to me about Faramir and how you've always loved this guy. He's your boy, right?
I mean, I do like him, but I definitely...
I might be misremembering that then. I thought back in the day you were... I thought he was your favorite.
So I guess one of the things that I did is I played with an army of rangers for the minis, that we call. So because of that, probably
that's probably what I'm thinking of. Like, oh, that ranger army. Yeah. I reckon that's probably what I'm thinking of.
But I mean, I think it's just for me. I was shocked. I fully expected at some point or another Smaug to get just an overwhelming hit, and just like we predicted, Faramir just stayed elusive through it, kind of kept going, kept at it until eventually an opening happened. So I mean, I'm excited. I like both of these characters. I like Faramir, and so now we get to see who he fights next, and maybe because he's so balanced, we get to see a completely side of Faramir next round.
Dude. Yeah, let's. Speaking of, let's go ahead and take a look at that next round potential matchup there. Oh, man. So, yeah, Elrond mopped the floor with Thorin. So, no 12-5, but we did get to 13-4 to set up Faramir against Elrond in the second round.
Ooh.
Wild.
That's a tough run for Faramir.
Right. Dude, but after seeing that, how can you not be a little optimistic, right, guys?
Absolutely.
It's like, whew. He was so clever, like true to form, right? Like Boromir would have rushed in there and blundered into some dragon fire, and Faramir just kept on being careful and elusive and smart and nimble, and he pulled maybe the biggest upset yet.
Yeah. I mean, like a true ranger, probably found some good coverage so that Smaug couldn't get a nice fire, burn.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that's great matchups for today.
This is just crazy, man. Man, we are rolling. This is bonkers. Guys, drop us some comments. I know you guys are watching. Hopefully you got the volume up and can hear this.
Yeah. And I mean, while you're at it too, like don't forget there's fights I think for the next 2 nights, right? For the
Yep.
round is 64.
Correct. Yep. Now through Thursday, we'll complete the first rounds. We're going 8 fights per night.
So there you go. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow and Thursday for more exciting stuff. I mean, I think today was really unlike yesterday. We saw a lot more upsets, but yeah, definitely exciting stuff to see how that bracket's gonna pan out.
Totally, dude. We've got 2 more fights tonight, and again, we appreciate you guys streaming live here on all the platforms. If you're watching this later on YouTube on demand, or on our website. Well, if you're watching it on our website, I don't need to tell you about the website, which I was just about to do. So let me just say, if you're watching it on YouTube, check out our website, MiddleEarthMadness.com. That's where you want to be for all the updates, the updated bracket, the updated events. We will have events and content beyond the Ultimate Tolkien Tournament, and much more on that later. But yeah, the website's kind of your one source. Nothing wrong with any of the socials. We're on them all. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Yes, MiddleEarthMadness.com. Hit it up. We're on all the socials too. They all, link together nowadays. So you're good to go. You're squared away. We've got 2 more fights tonight. And yeah, I was about to say one's going to be close and one's not going to be close, but I will withhold commentary on that at this point, having seen what I've seen tonight.
Yes. And gosh, can we give Josh a call right now and say, your boy's about to fight? Collect.
Dude, I know. How do we do this one without him? Should we go out of order? Maybe he's working tonight, man, but I feel like we do need to beam him in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Executive decision, man. Let's go out of order here, Hunty. That's a good call. Okay. We'll see if we can get him in for the last fight of the night.
Okay.
Good call. Pivot.
Oh, another dragon. And Calagon the Black at that.
Yes. Hopefully you guys aren't dragoned out.
See, now this one's... great matchup. Because Eowyn took down in the books.
Yep.
Another high seed in the Witch King. So...
And we've already had a 15-2 tonight. Does lightning strike twice? Because Gandalf is out of the field, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed that earlier, be sure and go watch that fight on demand on YouTube. It'll be up. It probably won't be up till late tonight or tomorrow, but depending on when you're watching this, check out the Gandalf fight, because spoiler alert, he has been eliminated.
Now, remind me, because sometimes I get some of the dragons confused, but Ancalagon, he was the one that was the size of a mountain, right?
Yeah, massive. You have to assume he was at least the size of a mountain, because he smashes a mountain when he falls, when he's slain by Eärendil. He goes down and he takes Thangorodrim down with him. So,
okay, and that makes sense. I was trying to figure out if that was him or Glaurung, but I get those two confused.
Yeah, totally. Those are our 2 main first stage dragons, and the main one is Glaurung. He appears in various battles. Other lesser dragons appear nameless at the fall of Gondolin. They help burn down Gondolin and destroy the last elvish stronghold in Beleriand, which is the part of Middle Earth that was the setting for all the battles of the first stage, in the futile, tragic battles of the elves against Morgoth.
Yes. Shout out Gondolin and shout out Glorfindel.
Oh, totally. Shout out Glorfindel every single time we can, man. Because, as we said earlier on the stream tonight, worst part about the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies is they subbed in Arwen for Glorfindel.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree. So.
Attaboy. Yeah, dude, that's just pathetic and tragic and all of that. But Yeah, shout out also to the Silmarillion. I still encounter way too many, even pretty big time Tolkien fans, that have read the Lord of the Rings and still have not read the Silmarillion. My dad, who helped program the battle engine, shout out to him. He couldn't make it on the panel tonight either, but dude, he won't read the Silmarillion. He's like, man, I've tried. It's like a history book, and it's not really a novel.
Yeah, it can
out.
be. I feel like it can be hard, especially if the copy of the Silmarillion that you have has the Old English text in there. Mm-hmm. I know I tried reading that, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, and it definitely took rereading the page a couple times to make sure I was getting
completely fair, man. And now, luckily, we've got these other mediums like Andy Serkis just did a reading of the Silmarillion. That's the newest version. If you go on Audible or just wherever you get audiobooks, really? Andy Serkis did the whole thing. Now, for me anyway, first of all, completely badass version. Definitely get it, listen to it, and you don't have to deal with weird words and all that, because he does a fantastic job and all the circus-ish style that you'd expect. To me, my only criticism is it's a little distracting because you're thinking about Smeagol the whole time. Just hearing that voice, you know what I mean? And he does such a great job like voicing guys throughout that story, but then you're always thinking about my precious, in that voice.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that he was doing a reading of the Silmarillion. I'm definitely going to have to go take a look at that. Because, it sounds like such an interesting depiction of the Silmarillion.
He's just a talented dude, man. He writes, he directs, he obviously acts. He did all the motion capture stuff, which is a weird form of acting. And then his voice acting is really, really good. And there's a lot of characters you have to voice act for in the Silmarillion, a ton. Mm-hmm. So, and he does them all himself. Even the women he can do. Wow. I mean, look, you're not going to mistake it for a woman's voice, but he softens his pitch enough and kind of like heightens his voice enough to where, it sounds like it's passable in a scene that this could be Yavanna, and then this could be Morgoth. It's like, hell yes.
That's awesome. I mean, I know I've seen him because he's done various animated shows, like for example, like Adventures of Tintin and stuff. So he has a really good vocal range. So yeah, I mean, that's why when you said that he had done the reading of the Silmarillion, I got excited. I want to hear it.
Totally. I'm just messaging Josh and saying we're changing the order just for you, so your boy Helm Hammerhand can fight last. We'll see if he can jump in.
There you go. All right, so Calagon the Black versus Éowyn. Now, how does the other main female protagonist in The Lord of the Rings, Shield Maiden of Rohan, fare against one of the most impressive dragons of all of the Tolkien legendarium, really?
Bad. Lee, I guess. I should probably use the adverb badly. But, dude, how can I say she doesn't have a chance? We've already seen a 15-2 upset tonight, so she's just got to play an absolutely perfect game. Let's take a look at the stats here. Which, as usual...
I don't feel like Éowyn was particularly great with ranged attacks. So it'll... At least I'm assuming...
No, she wasn't. No, she definitely is not. I'll show you in a sec here. Éowyn, there you are. All right, guys, I'll show you this stat screen here. So here's a computer breakdown. I'm just looking for any advantage that Éowyn might have, and the only thing I am seeing is stamina. Maybe a little bit on dexterity here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
one
better elusiveness because dragons are just not good at elusiveness. But other
True.
than that,
oh, my bad. Yeah. So she does have an advantage in elusiveness. Good call. Slight advantage in stamina.
Yeah,
2 points.
Yeah, unlike Faramir,
That's the thing, right?
This one will be a difficult one, right? Because I guess even if you do get up close in combat, it's not like dragons' non-preferred weapon is just a paw without claws.
Right. So, and Caligon, he does prefer ranged, right? Just like Smaug. He's going to use his dragon fire when he can, but if he has to use, a melee attack, he's got bloody 99 ferocity and 88 striking, and enhanced by, where's his stamina? 7. Yeah, he doesn't have great stamina, and then his defense is pretty much maxed out. Like, he's got ridiculous toughness. His armor's stout. I mean, he's a 2 seed for a reason, folks. Yeah. But yeah, if you had to point to a weakness, that elusiveness, I mean, he's going to have a tough time. He's going to have a tough time avoiding engagement, right? So if we look at elusiveness here, it's your middle defensive stat. These blue ones are defensive. This is avoiding engagement, right? So Eowyn will be able to engage him in battle. Now, will she be able to do any damage? That's the question, right? So as the readout says here, Eowyn should be able to engage during melee. So she's going to try to use her sword. Of course, that brings her into contact and engagement with an absolute mountain of a beast.
Quite literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, yeah, I mean, and I think that's interesting too, because I feel like some of the Rohan characters not having their horses, right? Your mobility, right? I know it's not a stat, but when you kind of imagine this or how it would play out, fighting a dragon, and if I rely on my horse maybe to get around, not having that might make it a heck of a lot harder.
Exactly. Yeah, and we struggled a little bit with the whole horse thing. These aren't cage fights. We should point that out. These are envision them as terrain-driven fights, but you can't just run away. You have to fight, or else it wouldn't be a fight, right? But exactly. Even so, the characters don't have steeds. Whether we're talking about the Nazgul is not riding on a fell beast. None of your Rohirrim or even Eomer or Imrahil are riding horses. So just to make that clear, and that's all baked into the stats. Otherwise, Eowyn would be higher, Eomer would be higher, a higher seed with better stats. Mm-hmm. Do we have Josh in the house? He's listening, but he can't turn on mic or camera.
Yeah, he did pull up, so it does beg the question: do we switch to Helm Hammerhand, or do we just run this one first? It's
yeah, I don't know that we're committed to this one now because we've done all the pre-game. But Josh, hang in there if you can, man. And for those watching, Josh is one of our founding members. So, and he has a bit of a thing for Helm Hammerhand. Rightly so. We can't hold that against him. Let's knock out. Yeah, totally. Let's knock out this Eowyn and Calagon fight, and then we'll get to Helm.
Let's do it.
Calagon versus Eowyn. Let us fight. On Calagon, right off the bat. Whew. Luckily for Eowyn, it only does 3 damage. Can Eowyn come back?
Okay.
Does she have any chance? More dragon fire. Again, avoids serious harm. but she can't even engage the beast. Why not? Dragonfire misses. Luckily, she engages. Tries a spear throw, doesn't work. Uh-oh. Woo! The Jaws of Utumno. Just a glancing blow, though. Only 1 damage. She's doing all right. Eowyn's hanging in so far. Another Dragonfire blast, but it doesn't burn her up. All right, she's trying to engage. She can't quite do it. Oh! Ooh, and Caligan comes back with more Dragonfire. But much like Faramir, he's not getting her spot on. He's not incinerating her yet.
Yeah, doing a great job of using that elusiveness.
Yeah, exactly. She's got decent elusiveness, but apparently so too does Caligan, because Eowyn is failing to engage here. Oh! Hey! A heavily hewn wound! Whoa. And Eowyn takes the lead over the beast. Oh my god.
That I did not expect.
Lightning could strike twice here, but you're never out of the fight. Let's see what Caligan can do after round 15. Eowyn misses, and Caligan comes back. Slight smite with the Dragonfire gets her down to 51. And it is 23-51 on the hit points in favor of Eowyn through 17 rounds. She attacks, can't hit. He attacks, gets more damage. Takes her down to 48. They're going back and forth. Missing. Oh, another wound here. The Jaws of Utumno. Taking her down to 27. We are dead even through 24 rounds. She misses. He comes back and misses. She misses. He comes back and misses. They're dancing. Who's going to get the next blow? Eowyn hits. No damage. Tink! Off the armor. Ooh, she tried another spear throw there. Didn't work. But man, he's not having a ton of luck with this Dragonfire. She's very wily.
Yes.
Oh, he comes back with another hit. Just slight damage. She's hanging in. She's got every chance here. Oh, miss. Tink! Miss. Tink! Oh, with the wound! Slay!
Oh, wow.
Caligan wins.
Wow. What a fight, Eowyn.
Holy crap, dude. I'm proud of the babe. She did good.
She did great. I mean, not only was it close to 40 rounds, but I mean, she had held the lead for a good while there too.
Dude. Yeah, man, our 15 seeds are wrecking it tonight. I mean, even though she didn't win, that's a moral victory or something. She can go to the halls of her fathers, Rohan Valhalla, and be a happy camper.
Yes, she can enter those halls with her head held high. And,
definitely.
Gain the many respect, because Caligan would no be an easy feat to anybody.
Oh my god, I know. Yeah.
I do see here we actually did have a few comments in the chat popping up, but
nice. What do we got? Read those if you would while I pull up the Helm battle to take us out tonight.
Okay, so we'll start off. Looks like Josh chiming in saying, "Hey guys, can't listen or chime in, but I'm here for Helm. Let's go." And then Patrick, shout out Patrick. He says that she need a nerf and she's too overpowered. It's interesting, Patrick, because all evening it's been crazy outcomes. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that she was overpowered. More so that lightning's just been striking all day today,
dude. It was fairly chalky last night, right? But even then, I mean, we had a couple 11-6 upsets, which are more common for sure than these 15-2s. But dadgum, we almost had 15-2s in the same night.
Yeah. I mean, that's unheard of. But yeah,
absolutely.
What an exciting evening it's been for all the matchups. And of course, we've been building this one up. I think for the last fight of the night.
Yeah, I just want to show these two one last time. This is the fight that just happened. But holy smokes, man. Plus, let's be real. I mean, you guys would rather look at Eowyn than some of these other characters, right? Right? Maybe. All right, I'm done.
Probably.
Last fight of the night. Galadriel against Helm Hammerhand.
Now, this one, a 7-10.
Yes.
How is that going to go?
Well, so again, 7-10s shouldn't surprise you if they happen. If anyone that watches basketball, that these are more or less a coin toss. The 8-9s and the 7-10s are very, very even. Now, that being said, if we look at the stats, you'll see more advantages for Galadriel. But let's take the pictures off there. Okay, cool. So we've got some advantages for both characters. At a glance, you can tell blue line being Helm, green line being Galadriel. It's close, man. I mean, you got advantages each way. So agility, Helm is actually slightly more agile. He's much more ferocious. He's braver. His valor's better. His striking, that's obvious, is better. His armor, they're pretty even. Neither one has great armor. Accuracy.
Interesting, because, I think that's going to be a big factor.
Yes. Yeah, it easily could. So here's another interesting one. The accuracy, right? Because Helm's ranged weapon is the horn of Helm Hammerhand. It doesn't actually do much damage, as you can see by his piercing value only being 40. That's a little bit like the Horn of Gondor. He blows it, and it has like a stunning effect. It's not going to do a ton of damage, but he can disengage with it. He can really, he's going to want to use melee as much as possible, as you can see on the readout up here. He wants to use his primal fury and his fists, and he wants to tear dudes apart, or tear chicks apart, as in this case. Battlefield conditions, though, they're going to favor Galadriel, which means both are going to use their preferred weapon about 90% of the time.
Okay. So I guess really what we're looking at is maybe Galadriel's looking to do a little bit more magic.
Yeah,
right?
Look at those. Magic and spirit, as you'd expect from a more, magic-centric character. It's nowhere close. I mean, we're talking stratospheres of difference here. So that's what's going to make it interesting, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's, they both have things that they're, obviously going to be preferred in, whether it be striking, accuracy, magic, spirit. So it really, this one I feel is a coin toss.
Yeah, definitely. And so one thing to point out for our Rings of Power fans in the house or watching later, this version of Galadriel is going to be significantly different than what you see in Rings of Power. So this is based purely on the books and more on the Third Age version of Galadriel that we see, the Lady of Lorien. That means she has the ring, Nenya. She keeps that. So she's magic based. But no, shield maiden theatrics, breaking out of prison and slaying heaps of dudes with a sword. That just, I mean, to be honest, that was unsubstantiated in the lore, and that was pulled out of someone's ass at Amazon. And we frown upon such things here in the Ultimate Tolkien Tournament. So that's our take on that. I'll leave it at that.
and also, do you want to pull up this comment?
Sure.
Josh?
Yeah. Heh! Who needs magic anyway when you have fists of fury and death? Yeah, we can tell who Josh is pulling for. So having said what I said, about Galadriel. I feel like I need to pull for her now because, don't get me wrong, I freaking love Galadriel, and she was one of my favorite characters. And remember how terrified dudes were of her across the board. I mean, we hear several opinions on that in the Lord of the Rings. Boromir, I mean, he was basically pooping his pants as he was walking through Lorien. Gimli wanted no piece of that forest, right? We have to remember things like that to be fair.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is I'm not a fan of the Rings of Power portrayal of her character, and that's not what this character in this fight is based on. So just to note that.
And that's completely fair. I mean, ultimately, I think that the spirit and magic, it still portrays the fact that she's one of the oldest elves to walk the third age.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah. The oldest remaining of the Noldor, too, who have that legacy from the first age. They call them high elves, right? And it's not the Towley version of, you guys want to get high? Shout out to you, Josh. No. The high elves being, the remnant of the Noldorian elves that had actually seen the light of the trees in Valinor. So they're ancient, they're extremely wise, and they're imbued with power from those days that, they're an immortal race that diminishes very, very slowly, and maybe not at all if you have one of the rings, arguably, because they tied their power up in those rings, such that, Galadriel isn't going to be much diminished from the first age, if any. She was on the White Council that ousted the necromancer from Dol Guldur. That was a version of Sauron before his better known version in Mordor, right? So
absolutely, and it's one of those worth shouting out too. I think she's one of the few remaining alive folk at all who saw the two trees as well.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. Should we have our last fight of the night?
I think we've been maybe building up the suspense for our friend Josh a little bit. And so, definitely think we should, let's get it going.
Let us fight. Right off the bat, Galadriel uses the ring. Slight smite to Helm Hammerhand. Not a good start. Can Helm survive? He's got to engage. He engages, but fails to hit. She engages, fails to hit. Helm uses Primal Fury. He can't engage. She's using her ring and hits but doesn't do any damage. They're dancing. Oh, she hits him again. Tink! No damage. Helm's trying. He can't do any damage. Neither can she, though. So... Oh, another fell stroke by Galadriel. Heavily healed and slain.
Wow.
Nenya. Beat down by the Lady of Lothlorien. Josh, you tuned in at work for that. What say you?
I'm sure we're going to get a colorful comment here shortly.
Yeah.
But Galadriel just did not play around. She just said, "I'm here, and we're gonna use Nenya consistently."
Yeah, and Helm he couldn't stand against that because his magic and his spirit were so low, and his range, no armor, and very little ranged armor too. So tough draw for Helm in the first round, man. Someone brought up yesterday a good point in the comments that they were saying that we should have a losers bracket too, right? So that some of these unfair first fights, like for the hobbits and folks like that,
Mm-hmm.
Although tonight's the wrong night to talk about it because we had 15-2 upsets and 13-4 upsets and crap like that, right? But it is a good point. In the future, I think we are going to have a losers bracket too, right? So Helm doesn't have to fight the likes of Galadriel maybe right off the bat because that's a tough draw for him.
True. I mean, I think he would do really well against a majority of those hand-to-hand combat characters.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, this one I think was just maybe a tough draw and favored Galadriel just very, very heavily. I'd like to kind of, if I'm picturing it or if I'm imagining it, right? I think even as somebody as valiant and as mighty as Helm Hammerhand, probably still just maybe stood back for a second at the glory of Galadriel, really.
Yeah, it's a form of enchantment, right? And we're probably going to see that with Luthien as well. She just, yeah, I mean, and you see that in the books too. You see that with Gimli. He could barely look at her, and when he did, he's just like, all I want for a present is 3 pieces of your hair. and the fact that she said yes and gave them to him, he's like, okay, I'm never going to shit talk the elves again because I'm done with that. They're legit.
Yeah. yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's cool because who was it? What was there was an elf, right? That requested a piece of hair from Galadriel.
An elf.
I feel like that's the case. I might be wrong, though.
You could be right. It's not ringing a bell for me. An elf from Galadriel, right? Not from.
Yes, yeah, specifically from Galadriel. And then the fact that she gave those pieces of hair to Gimli was kind of it gave special significance, even more so. But
why does that kind of ring a distant bell? And then someone was pissed off at Gimli for that?
I'm not sure. I think Patrick and comment saying Feanor. So did Feanor request hair from Galadriel?
He's in the field with Patty Man. He hasn't fought yet. I believe he is in the Eriador region on the right-hand side of the bracket. Let's have a look. Nope, he is on the other right-hand side of the bracket. He is in the Numenor region, bottom right of the bracket. He's our 1 seed up there. He will fight tomorrow.
Trying to figure out. According to Reddit, it was actually Feanor who asked for the 3 hairs. Now, this is Reddit, so I can't necessarily confirm it. Yes.
Oh, is that what Patty Man meant in the comments?
I think so.
Dude. You guys are educating me then, because I don't know about this story. Feanor asked Galadriel for 3 pieces of her hair?
Well,
I need to hear about this.
I'm trying to see. It's in From Unfinished Tales, the story of Galadriel.
Wow.
I'm trying to see.
Did he have a kind of a thing for her?
Here, I'm gonna post it in our chat. Sweet. So that you can read it. But according to this Redditor, that's actually the case.
Okay, so Galadriel's mother name was Nadwen. She grew to be tall beyond the measure of even the women of the Noldor. She was strong of body, mind, and will, a match for both the lore masters and the athletes of the Eldar in the days of their youth. Even among the Eldar, she was accounted beautiful, and her hair was a marvel, unmatched. It was golden like the hair of her father, and of her mother Indis, but richer and more radiant, for its gold was touched by some memory of star-like silver. Okay, so she was a hottie, and she was a good athlete. But where's the bit about Feanor?
Oh, hold on. I think it didn't. Oh, give me 1 second. I feel like it didn't copy the entire thing.
All good. Yeah, Patty Man's saying it is. He wanted the hairs for the Silmarils. What the hell? Apparently, I'm completely slept through this part of the Unfinished Tales, which I love. This I love the new lore when you guys give it to me.
Okay, I'm pasting it some more.
All good. Let's see what we got.
Okay.
Okay, so her mother, the light of the two trees, Lauraline and Telperion had been snared in her tresses. Cool. So she had the light of the trees in her hair, and many thought that this saying first gave to Feanor the thought of imprisoning that light from the trees, which he ultimately did in the Silmarils. For Feanor beheld there in the hair of Galadriel with wonder and delight. He begged 3 times for a tress of her hair, but Galadriel would not give him even one. These 2 kinfolk, the greatest of the Eldar of Valinor, were unfriends forever. So this must have been after. So if they were unfriends, it must have been after the kinslaying. It must have been in Beleriand.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because that excerpt comes from Unfinished Tales. So
how cool, man! Yeah, I appreciate that, dude. Super wild, and opens up a bunch of questions I'm gonna have to consider going forward here.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that's why he wanted the hair, I guess. But yeah, I mean, Patty Man definitely knows this story, because he said he wanted them for the Silmarils.
Good work, Patty Man. Excellently done. Yeah, dude. So I'm thinking after the ship burning, because obviously Feanor's unfriends with everyone, and he'd have to have some nerve to ask her for those hairs that late, right? After, he jacked the ships from them, he burnt them, he left them behind. I don't think, Galadriel being of the House of Finarfin, she would have crossed the grinding ice with Finrod and Fingolfin and all those guys. She would have been definitely unfriends with Feanor by then. And so it's almost like, dude, are you really asking me for my hair? F right off. Like, get out of here.
Exactly.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely after the kinslaying, of course.
But if it was like in the old days in Valinor, well, besides the fact that both of them were married later in Beleriand, Finrod already had 7 sons in Valinor, and so he was definitely married. All kinds of questions I have here.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what the because that makes Galadriel his niece.
Oh boy, the No, I don't think there's. If you go back far enough, they're all House of Finwë, right? But then Feanor is brothers with half brothers with Fingolfin. That post just said Indis, so Fingolfin and Finarfin are the sons of Finwë. It's easy to find a family tree diagram on the internet. I'm trying to just struggle through this in my head.
Okay, so I guess, yeah, so Feanor and Finarfin, half siblings.
Yep.
Finarfin being the father of Galadriel.
And Finrod.
So, technically, be like a half uncle, I guess.
So they're some kind of cousins, like once or twice removed, like second cousins or something like that, right? First,
yeah.
So because it's a half marriage, so they're half brother cousins. So they are related. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's call it a night with that bit of trivia. I appreciate that, guys. See, I learned stuff from you. That's why I'm here.
It sounded familiar, but yeah, I had to Google it, and then Patrick really helped. So shout out to Patrick on that one.
Yeah, totally. Shout out to Patrick, man. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, that is it for the second night of the Ultimate Tolkien Tournament. Hopefully we had some fun. Hopefully you guys had some fun. I know we had some fun.
Yes, we most definitely did.
Yeah, dude. It's some insane fights. If you missed them and you're still listening, if you missed any of them, you can always go to the YouTube page, to the website, middleearthmadness.com, or to the YouTube page. At the bottom of every page of the website, we have links to all of our socials, and we're on all of them. But the best place to watch recaps of these fights, or watch the whole fights, just edited to shorter videos, is our YouTube page. So hit that up if you missed anything. They're all going to be on there, and the comments are open. So have at it. And with that, thanks for watching. And until the next battle, remember, as Professor Tolkien says, you can only come to the morning through the shadows. And where there is life, there is always hope. You're never out of the fight.